remember a couple months ago, I made all the dolls for the Beetlejuice waiting room. I made these with traditional porcelain doll kits. I really love the results, but oftentimes these Dollhouse dolls end up a little stiff. So during the month of Beetlegust, when I was making all of these dolls, I got an email from another small business that's starting to sell resin printed dolls that have a lot more movement. Maya from Mysfit Doll Co has been so patient waiting for me to do a review on these dolls. And actually this is going to be a multi-video series, maybe 2 or 3 videos worth of me working with these dolls and making a scene for them. I know this isn't a very spooky project that you're about to see in this video. However, I do have a spooky episode that should come out on Halloween, so I'm still working on something in the background. So without further ado, let's watch this unboxing from a couple months ago. This was sent to me by the small business Mysfit Doll Co. And I think this was in response to seeing my traditional Dollhouse dolls. They really wanted me to try out something a little bit different. These are more in the fashion of BJDs or ball jointed dolls. And they're in 1/12 scale. So I'm really excited to see what's in the package. And I do believe there is a portrait doll, and that's one of the specialties of Mysfit Doll Co. So go ahead and grab something to drink, get cozy, and let's see what's in this package. I used to not be a doll person, but now I am just all about the characters in my scenes. And so I'm always excited to see new dolls, new possibilities, and especially ones from a small business that might be useful to you in your projects as well. All right, so we've got protection to keep everything safe. Oh wow, there's a whole box in here. This is so cute. I'm glad I set up the camera to open this. Oh, all right. So I think this is a note. So this is the instruction book. And I do think I was told that if you were interested in getting a kit, that they would be printed instructions, but I got handwritten instructions. Ooh, it's nice and warm because it's been in a UPS truck. I'm guessing these might be the 2 kits. So I'm going to put this to the side for now and we can open these up. Now, I will say, I did get to pick out what I wanted. There were a lot of choices. There were different heads, different structures, different body types. And so I'm excited to see which one this is. Oh my goodness. It's a little mouse. So I did ask for a mouse, and so incredibly adorable. The joints are so tiny. These are resin printed, so very, very cool. Okay, so let me measure the height. 6 inches tall. So this would be a 6 foot tall mouse, or if you got a human instead of a mouse, a 6 foot tall human in 1/12 scale. Such tiny, tiny pieces. And I do know that the kit comes with eyes that you can use acrylic paint, and then you just use like a little bit of UV resin to fill in the hole. And so it looks like the eyes are kind of looking at you from all around. Oh my gosh, so cool. Okay, so this must be the other one. This is a slightly smaller print. And so I decided to get the slightly smaller one as a female mouse, and the slightly larger one is a male mouse. So you can see the difference in their sizes. And if you're interested in these kits, I'm sure all of that is explained when you order, and you can kind of choose exactly what you are looking for. But I cannot believe the details are even smaller. And I'll have to figure out how to get the cap open. I'm sure it's in the instructions, and then I'll have to paint the eyes. So there's my 2 little mice hanging out there. And I do know that the owner of Mysfit Doll Co, Maya, one of the specialties is making portrait dolls. And I didn't realize that the portrait doll was coming until there was kind of a mess up with UPS. By the way, Maya worked tirelessly to try and fix that and got it fixed, and everything was fine. Oh my goodness. So So this is a little portrait doll made of me. Oh, there's two different head caps, I think. I'm gonna pull the doll out. It's a mini Aira. I was wondering with ball jointed dolls that are this tiny, what kind of material you need to use to create clothes so that the joints work. And now that I'm feeling the material, it's a very thin but very soft and movable material. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. So this is the mini Aira made by Maya from Mysfit Doll Co. And it is so cute. Oh, even the little tiny nails are painted. Let me give you a close-up of the face. And there's a package that says glasses. And then the clothing is perfect. I love some comfy clothes. And mini Aira is the same height as the mouse. So I'm gonna be 6 inches tall. Be slightly taller. That's okay. I am actually the short one in my family at 5'6". So there's actually tiny, tiny glasses in here. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. That is so amazing. Oh my gosh. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Maya, for making me a custom portrait doll. Thank you for sending me the mice kits. If I can speak, thank you so much for sending me the mice kits. I'm really excited to create them. When I was talking with Misfit Doll Co. about reviewing their kits, I made sure to ask about what skin tones were available to make sure that there was a wide range, and pretty much any skin tone is available. However, some of them have to be custom mixed, which Misfit Doll Co. is perfectly capable of doing. However, it just might take a little bit of extra time to make sure that the resin that's being mixed is the correct color. This is a sample of a custom mixed resin color, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. Maya did say that they do end up being a little bit softer when they are printed, and I can tell that it's a little bit of a different texture between the gray and the brown, but the gray is a resin that comes pre-made in this color, and this one is a custom mix. So I'm really glad Maya was able to send me both so I could get a feel of both of the resins. I am so blown away by this mini portrait doll of me, and so I might have to make a little scene for mini Aira at some point. Maybe make my office or make a doll. Oh, I know. Hold on. Not in this video, but hold on. I bought this really cool, beautiful dollhouse. And so it'd be cool to do a scene of me working on a dollhouse. Wouldn't that work so good? That would be so fun. Okay, I'm gonna put this to the side and really carefully find a place for Aira. And then we can talk about my idea for the mouse scene. I also received this box from Selena and Annie. And I thought this could be a good box to go along with the box I got from Misfit Doll Co. The note says, "Hi Aira, my mom is a huge fan of yours. She told me about your channel and I have to say I thoroughly enjoy it. Here's a box of random stuff from both of us. We hope you can use some or all of it eventually. Happy crafting." So thank you for sending me this box. It kind of inspired this idea. This is going to be a mouse house or a mouse room box made from the craft items of Selena and Annie. I don't know what's in here, but I think it would be really fun to pull things out and kind of start planning what could be for our little mice. And that might give me some inspiration on making them some clothes so they look like they go into the scene. All right, so some foam board, always good. We've got papers, lots of different papers, which I think is perfect for mice because they're always picking up who knows what. Well, as far as I know, from what I know of mice. There's some frame mats. You know I love my mat board, so never enough mat board. And some felt kind of in the bottom. Oh, and some more wire. Perfect. I think we can definitely do this. We can combine the mice with some craft supplies and make them their entire room. I'm not gonna be able to get that all back in there. I don't know how you did that. Whoop. So I need to say thank you to Maya for sending me the beautiful kits, and Selena and Annie for sending me some craft supplies that I think will make a really cool mouse room. I was immediately inspired by these dolls to create something of a borrowers type scene. If you're not sure what the borrowers are, they are a group of little people that I guess live in your walls, and they borrow items from around your house to create their home and live their lives. So because these are mice, they're like mice people, I thought it'd be fun to make an inside of a wall scene, use some of the supplies from the box that I opened, and of course dress the dolls and use them in that scene as well. So this is going to be a very different, fun project because I'm going to be using real life items and trying to make something that looked like it's supposed to be real life size, which is, no, I don't think I've ever done that before. So to start out, I'm going to be creating a wall cavity. I'm hoping that maybe one day I can actually install this in a wall somewhere, but for now, I'm hoping I can just hang it on the wall. This project called for the long ruler because I knew I wanted to make a tall, skinny wall cavity for these mice to live in. This is a little bit of a different shape that I'm used to. Usually it's more of a square room with a deeper inset, but this is going to be very shallow. Normally 2x4s are set at 16 inches on center. However, I'm only going to be making this about 8 inches wide on the inside. I'm really going to try and push reducing the amount of width on this project, which I think will give me a lot of room to try and be creative and come up with something interesting. It's also not going to be very heavy because I'm using foam board and cardboard. This is an interesting challenge because I am trying to recreate real life items in real life scale. So I have to make these foam panels look like actual lumber. And in the end, you can let me know how you think I did. I think maybe my wood grain was a little bit more exaggerated than it needed to be, but it was fun to try and experiment and see what I could do. I'm using a couple different size ball stylus to pull along the foam lengthwise in order to create this wood grain. This is where I think I could have created a few smaller grains along the wood to get a little bit more realism, but in the end I do end up being happy with it. By using a couple different sizes, I think it gives some good variation to the grain pattern. I'm going to have 2 side walls, 1 floor, so to speak, and then 1 broken piece of wood that's going to be towards the upper part of the room. I'm also using the ball stylus to punch into the foam, which I think will look like woodworm holes or like there used to be some other nail or screws stuck in the wood. Now I do want to make some planks that are going to go against the back. This is going to look like an older wall that they used to use plaster on. I'll put an example on the screen so you know what I'm talking about. So in order to make these, I wanted them to look very scratched up and scrappy because these are not going to be very pretty pieces of wood, hopefully. I scratched each sheet of chipboard up with a sharp tool, then I did a base coat of black and added some strokes of dark brown on top of that. Finally, I used a paper towel, dipped in some white, and then brushed most of it off to give it an older looking wood and really highlight those areas where I roughed up the chipboard. I made about 3 sheets of these, and now I can just cut them into 2-inch strips so that I can glue them against the back of my wall cavity. Sometime off camera, I hot glued the foam boards onto the cardboard to create my 2 walls and my floor. Now I can add in these 2-inch strips, making sure they're as close to the side walls as possible. I'm making sure to leave about a 1/4 inch gap in between each one, and a few of them I'm allowing them to be a little bit crooked. I'm going to go ahead and add some black into those crevices, even though it's mostly going to be covered up later, but just in case I miss any areas, I want to make sure that it's black. This also gives a little bit of age to the top and bottom of each panel, making them look more separate. This is how it's looking so far. Before moving on, I wanted to add some of my Dollhouse bandages, which is basically just cardstock or paper that I add glue to and cover over an area that I want to hide or reinforce. This is covering up the connection between the cardboard and the foam board. This is going to make it stronger and make it look better as well. Now I can use some black Mod Podge to go over the foam board. This is not only going to protect the foam board, but be a gray base coat. And when I say protect, I really mean it's just going to protect it from little gentle nail marks from like fingernails. If I want to put a hole in it, I still can. It's not quite that protected. In order to preserve the grain that I put in, I'm just going to be using a foam brush to gently brush the dark brown over the black. This is going to allow the deep areas to stay black, really giving it that wood effect. This is where I think a few more smaller wood grain marks would have added to the 1-to-1 scale realism. I do think this would look great if it was shrunk down, but I'm hoping adding a little bit more age to it will help. I'm going to be using some gray because if this is an older home that these mice are living in, then the wood is not going to be so bright and brown and new looking. So I'm using gray over top the brown. And then I'm going back with some black dry brushing into the corners to make it look like some dirt has built up. I'm using some lightweight spackling in order to add some of that plaster that's going to be sneaking through those boards. Older homes had plaster walls and the boards helped the walls stand up, and therefore on the inside of the wall you can see the plaster coming through. Behind my head, what I'm doing is adding some glue and then adding some of the lightweight spackling on top of the glue. It's not necessary, but I do want to make sure that the spackling's not going anywhere. Now that my head's out of the way, you can kind of see the process of me adding tacky glue and then adding some spackling on top of the glue. Once it's in place, I can take a small palette knife and I'm just going to squish it down a little bit. It's okay if it looks messy because this is plaster that's just basically been forced through the wall and it's gonna look a little bit messy. Probably the messier, the more realistic it looks. After it dried, I just took my finger and pushed down any peaks that I felt I didn't want, and then I could add a little bit of watered down acrylic paint just to age it because if this is an old wall, you wouldn't have bright, shiny white plaster showing through. Now I can add my one little bit of wood that's been broken and is hanging down on one side of the wall, and I'm just going to glue that in place. One of the fun things about this project is I can actually use real life items for what they need to be in this project. So if I need a nail, I can use an actual nail. And because I used foam, I can just push straight through the foam and into another piece, making a hole for the nail. All that happens is this little bit of pink pops out wherever I push the nail through, so I'm just going to make sure and get that out of the way with a pair of tweezers, paint over any pink that I can see, and then I'm going to remove the nail, add some glue, and then push it back through the hole to make sure that the nail will stay in place. I'm going to actually add two here so it looks like this was at one point nailed into place or someone was trying to keep it in place. I think it'll be really fun to add a lot more different screws and different types of nails and have the mice hang things off of those different pieces in the walls. I also wanted to go ahead and finish the outside of this room, which I never do. I never finish the outside before I even do anything on the inside, so I'm kind of proud of myself. I decided to use this antique copper over the black Dollhouse Band-Aid to give this a finished look once it's hanging on my wall. And then finally added some matte clear spray to knock down any shine. So here we go. We've got one wall cavity ready to go for this project. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I think adding the matte spray was really helpful to bring down some of the shininess there was in the paint and from using the foam. It's really lightweight, so I am hoping that I am going to be able to hang this on the wall because I'm pretty much out of shelf space. So before I go, I'm going to take pictures of the dolls inside of the wall cavity. And if you are a big borrower fan and any ideas pop into your mind, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'm still kind of in this like creative buzz phase where I'm just like You know that feeling when you have like a new project that's distracting you from all the projects that you should be probably working on, but you're so excited and you just want to see it? You just want to see it like come to life? I'm in that phase and I'm really excited. Like I'm just picturing like a little teacup bed, or I don't know, like maybe they make out of that one box like a faux stained glass window that they hang on the inside. I don't know. I don't know yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and insert the pictures of the dolls in this space so you can kind of see the scale. I'm so excited to work on these dolls more in the next video over this project. They are so small and detailed. I'm excited to try and make some clothing. I'm thinking some adventurer style outfits made out of some clothes I actually have in a donation pile to stay with the borrowers type theme. And hopefully in a future project, I can create a small scene for Mini Era. And because I'm really excited about this right now, I may continue working on it, but as I said, I also have kind of a spooky video coming up for October 31st, so I need to work on that too. I'm also excited about that one. So much exciting stuff. And I know I need to get back to Beetlejuice and building the building and the captain's quarters. And there's just so much creativity going on that I can't even speak. Thank you again to Maya, who has sent in the dolls that has started this whole creative journey. Sometimes it's just like a little thing that sparks an entire idea. I hope you all have an amazing week. Thank you for watching. I hope you're having a great start to spooky season. And I will see you in the next one. Bye. I'm trying to make sure you can't see my mess in the background. I made these with traditional doll. I made these. I need to stop messing with this. If you're not sure what the borrowers. And because I'm really excited about this.